human.
And boom!
Common man, no show pep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. And you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
Drag kick. Playoffs? Didn't you playoffs? What are you talking about? Playoffs? Didn't you playoffs?
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. What are you doing?
You're going to see a totally different team even at home. We're a different beast.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice. And he's loose! Nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Touchdown! Vikings!
Quarterback quandary.
The Lions are a terrible team and a terrible city. 4 terrible fans and a terrible stadium. And terrible uniforms. And terrible cheerleaders.
Mark, they can't pitch. They can't hit. What is with, come on.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Well, it's good to be back in the spotlight.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Have to be a big shot last night in the bright, hot spotlight last night. Something like that. Welcome back. Greetings, good afternoon, and act to you and yours. I'm the common man, Dan Cole. He is Tennessee. We're here until 3, not noon to 3. We just had the Nico Medved show. Another, it was a lively Nico Medved show. I didn't get an opportunity to listen. I was participating in a station function, had a little lunch and some camaraderie, bonding, I guess is what it would be. This was the first Nico Medved show after the win over Indiana, right? My guess is it was a festive Nico Medved show. You come off, brand new, first Big Ten game against a ranked opponent, and you beat them. I'm sure it was a lively and exciting Gopher Nico Medved show. You'll hear those throughout the season, and hopefully they'll continue their winning ways.
I feel like they're must-listen-to shows.
I do.
It's appointment radio.
I would agree.
It's appointment audio.
We call it lean-in audio.
Yeah.
Is what we call it. The legendary one, Mark Rosen, will join us just before 2 o'clock, and we'll ask him about a little of this, a little of that, with the emphasis on the lat. Phil Rivers might be quarterbacking the Indianapolis Colts. Is this almost the equivalent of elder abuse? I mean, the guy's 44 years old.
Desperate times call for
desperate measures. Though I will say, I think I was a bigger Phil Rivers guy than you were. I think I just remember you. You think he's good, but I don't think you think he's as good as
a box score. Yeah.
See, I thought he was better than a box score. And if you started naming off starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now, I bet at least, was there 32 of them? I bet 10 of them I would take Phil Rivers over right now as we speak. And Phil hasn't played in how many years now? Was this his first year in retirement or second?
I don't know. He's like 44, 45 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, so how long is he? Do you know how long he's been out of the league?
I think it's been like 4 or 5 years.
Has it been that long out of the league? Because I would still take him over, or maybe 10's too many, but a half a dozen quarterbacks he's better than. He just is.
He last played in 2020.
Wow, it has been a long time. COVID days. It's been that long? Yeah, I thought he might have just retired after last year.
That backup quarterback in Indy must be feeling really good about himself right now.
Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks.
Hasn't been in the league in 5 years.
There's a lot of the quarterbacks in this league tend to be. I told you. I mean, you name off the starting quarterbacks, and I'll tell you if I'd rather take Phil Rivers.
Michael Penix Jr.
I'll take Phil Rivers. After what I saw from Jalen Hurts last night, Phil Rivers. I'm serious.
Tua Tagovailoa.
I would take Phillip Rivers.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'd give them each a half and see who came up better.
Cam Ward.
Phil Rivers.
Lamar Jackson.
Phil Rivers. J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah?
Phil Rivers. Now give me the electrical shock. He's starting to get it turned around. He's a lot better than he was. You know what? We found our guy in J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, here it is. Oh, here's the story. I just stumbled across it. Well, two things. The Indianapolis Colts signed 44-year-old Phil Rivers to the practice squad Tuesday. A person with knowledge of the deal told the Associated Press. The person spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity because the team had not yet made an official announcement. They were embarrassed to announce it, I think is what they did. So let's not make this official yet. Let's make sure we've got our I's dotted and our T's crossed. Rivers took his last NFL snap with the Colts in a playoff loss following the 2020 season. So you're right, 2020 season. He announced his retirement in January of 2021 and began coaching St. Michael High School in Fairhope, Alabama. The move comes less than 24 hours after Colts coach Shane Steichen confirmed Indy starting quarterback Daniel Jones would miss the rest of the season with a fractured fibula. No, he should have missed the rest of the season with a fractured fibula, but Danny Dimes said, I can play, and Steichen and the Baltimore Colts franchise said, yeah, we think you can too. And I begged them not to play him. If you remember, it was Thursday or Friday, I would say, you can't play this guy. This is roster medical malpractice. The guy can't protect himself. And then if you saw the highlight, it wasn't even on a contact play. It was just so much stress on that fracture. And I'm sure it was, when you have, who are they just, was it Darisaw they were talking? Somebody with the Vikings, they thought because they were compensating for a knee, something was wrong. Wasn't there a Viking player this year that missed a couple of games because of that? They thought maybe it was O'Neal. It was O'Neal, remember? They said, well, I think it was O'Neal. Well, he's compensating for a right knee injury, so he's putting more strain on now his left ankle hurts or something like that. So that's what happened there was Danny Dimes because the pain was tremendous. And so he was favoring that leg, and that probably put more pressure on his Achilles, and pop goes the wheel and the weasel, and snap goes the Achilles, and now he's out for at least. I mean, those are usually a calendar year type injuries. So, and we talked about this yesterday. It's just the way of the National Football League, how things can change so quickly. You go from they were 7-1 November 2nd. They were a lock to make the playoffs, pretty much, right? I mean, again, only 8 games in.
They're trying number one seed.
Yeah. 8 games in, the season's far from over, as we're learning now, if we didn't know that. And now all of a sudden, just over a month later, they're done. I think.
Yeah.
Unless Phil Rivers, it would be a wonderful story.
Now I'm cheering for him.
I like stories like this.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if Phil Rivers?
I mean, Joe Flacco's kind of done it. I mean, he wasn't out for 5 years,
Right.
but he basically wasn't a starting quarterback, it seems like, for 5 years.
Now, Phil's got a sense of humor, too. Instead of if they have a cold weather game, instead of like one of those ponchos, he's got a shawl instead. He's got the shawl and he has a cane and he's walking around the sidelines and people will laugh and then he goes in.
I always love that
football. I would root for the Colts now because
before he goes out on the field, he takes out his teeth and sets it in the glass.
Exactly. Tim puts the teeth in a glass. There's all sorts of great bits they could do. Be on the bench on the sideline, falling asleep. Hey, Phil, and then have one of his teammates push him. Phil, we're back out there. Oh, okay.
I always love that one.
So I don't mind it at all. Quick question, by the way, for Packer fans who got on me about 4 or 5 years ago. Still think the Packers should have drafted a wide receiver instead of Jordan Love? You want to go back there and do that?
Maybe they win a big game if they would have done that.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. You could have
Get T. Higgins out there with Aaron Rodgers?
Not a chance. Wouldn't have made a difference. And now you have I think you got your franchise. I mean, he's all the rage right now. Everywhere there are stories on all the websites, ESPN, ABC, NBC, BBC, BB King, Max Busby, FBIC, all talking about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Oh, and we talked about changes, and we talked about this yesterday. Bears went from the number 1 seed at noon on Sunday. By 6 o'clock, they were the 7th seed. So, interesting to see what will happen. Vikings take on they have Dallas this week, right?
We're at Dallas
on the Sunday nighter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Prime time.
Amazingly, we didn't get flexed up.
Yeah, a Monday night. So, I don't know what you would flex to. Is there something that'd be worth flexing to? And not that they would. Don't networks have some games they can protect, though?
Yeah.
So, like, if there was a game that they would rather have on Sunday night, I think Fox...
What about Bills-Patriots?
Well, and see, I think Bills-Patriots is one of those where I would think CBS has an option not to let them flex that one.
I'm guessing like the Lions-Rams. The Lions-Rams game's at 3:25. I'm guessing that's can't move that one.
Yeah, and I don't think...
But the Bills-Patriots a noon game.
But I also think CBS says we don't want to move that. We don't want to give that up. But they're all in it together.
Packers-Broncos.
Yeah, that's another really good game. There's some good matchups.
They always say nationally, like Dallas Cowboys draw crowds,
well,
and they're relevant.
Yep. For now,
until we take them out. We're about spoiler alert.
Until number 9. Number 9 until 9. Which song is this?
It just says Christmas Parade A.
I wanted to do a Dylan duet, but I don't recognize it.
It's because I think it's a generic Christmas bed.
Are we allowed to play, do we have any recordings from Beethoven? Because that's so long ago. I got to think. Because Beethoven lived in like the 13th, 14th century. Beethoven was living, I think, when they were building the pyramids back in the 1800s. So I would think his music is past that public.
I always love that.
It's now
one.
public domain. So maybe we can find a little Beethoven, a little. Of course, my favorite composers are Monet and Renoir. But that's a whole nother story. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Plenty to get to, and I can't wait to hear the legendary Mark Rosen join us just before 2 o'clock right here on The Fan.
Remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun? Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominated Outstanding Public School Teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
I'm the first Noel. The angels did say.
It's a couple 13-14 past. I make no bones about it. I like defensive football. Defense wins championships. Could you do me a favor? Could you ask Grok AI or any AI, Chat GPT, whatever they call it, where did the phrase, and what does it mean, I make no bones about it? You've heard that phrase before.
Of course.
Right? I've made no bones about it. What does that mean? Probably has something to do with a dog and a bone or something about skeletal remains, cold, dead, rigor mortis.
To be very sure and definite about something? Do you want the origin?
Yeah, that's what I think more than anything is the origin.
Okay.
The origin of it. And as you look for that, there were several National Football League games this past weekend that I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, I like the Vikings win, but if you're going to have a blowout, it's better to be on the winning side of a blowout, which we were. And, we got the training wheels back on the bike for JJ, which is important at this time because we saw without training wheels, he is a he's a wipeout waiting to happen. But so that was good. Bears-Packers game, there was some offense in that second half, but it was a good defensive battle. Points were hard to come by, as were yards, hard hitting, frozen tundra, the whole thing.
So, now this is the AI overview, which is incorrect quite often.
Yeah, that's okay.
But the idiom, make no bones about it, originated in 15th century England from the idea of finding undesirable bones in food, especially soup, meaning to find objections or difficulties. Thus, to make no bones meant to have no complaints and speak frankly. With the phrase evolving from find no bones to make no bones about it by the late 19th century.
I see. Late 19th century, about the same time they were building the pyramids in Egypt. It's the same thing. I make no bones about it. I like defense. And I also really enjoyed Kansas City versus Texas for a couple of reasons. Look, I'm not a Houston Texans fan by any stretch of the imagination. And we've talked about this, Tim. You and I we're a little different here. As much as I admire dynasties and this, that, and the other thing, after a while I get a little tired of it. It's like I don't need to see Tom Brady win an 8th big game, a 9th big game, a 10th big game. I don't want to see it anymore. I can admire it and still, because people will say that to you. Well, don't you admire what he's doing? Well, yeah, but I'm tired of living in admiration. I want an abomination. I want a team that's why do we like underdog stories so much? And why do we like worsts to firsts and that kind of a thing? And Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Kelsey Tay are the closest thing to a dynasty we've had in a long time. They're a dynasty, right? So I don't mind, and I don't think they're done, but they could still qualify. And
I think Kelsey's done.
Yeah, no, but I meant the franchise. Yeah. I don't think that the Chiefs are will never under Mahomes and Andy Reid. Well, that's it. They'll never qualify for postseason play ever again. As a matter of fact, they could still do it this year. A lot of stuff would have to fall their way, so it's highly unlikely, but it could happen. But anyway, and as I'm watching that game, there were a couple of plays that really turned it the other way. And I look at Associated Press, and they have a headline today that says, Stefanski and Reid both make head-scratching fourth-quarter decisions that lead to losses. Now, Stefanski coaches the Browns, right?
Yes.
There's no decision they could make that matters anyway. So I skip part of that part of the story because the Browns they're an inconsequential, irrelevant team right now, so who cares? But then I go to the Kansas City part of this story about the head-scratching blunder by Andy Reid. It reads as follows. One of the biggest blunders came from the league's winningest active head coach, Kansas City's Andy Reid, who inexplicably, can you look up the definition of it, inexplicably? Because that sounds to me, if I have the definition of it, inexplicably, I can't even say it. Maybe you could get a pronunciation too. Means like, you can't explain it. You can't do, how could you even consider doing such a thing? Make no bones about it. You can't do that. It's inexplicable. Inexplicable.
Computer is going a little slow here.
That's okay. One of the biggest blunders came from the league's winningest active head coach, Kansas City's Andy Reid, who inexplicably went for it on 4th and 1 from the Chiefs' 31 in a game that was tied at 10 with just under 10 minutes remaining. Patrick Mahomes' pass to Rashee Rice was incomplete, and the Houston Texans got the ball already in field goal range. They scored the go-ahead tutty, and the Chiefs could not recover in a 2010 loss that dethroned the reigning 9-time champs in the AFC West. Here's what Reid said. I was confident we could convert. I thought it was an opportunity. I was wrong in hindsight. It was wrong. We've been pretty good on 4th downs. I messed that one up. Of course, the story then goes on to say Reid was actually playing the odds. The Chiefs were the 13th team since 2000 to go for it on 4th down inside their own 35 in the fourth quarter of a tied game. 13th team to do it. Others were 8 for 12, with the Bucs the last to do it in a 2023 opener against the Vikings with a conversion that led to a game-winning field goal. Their 10 points marked the Chiefs' lowest output at Arrowhead Stadium with Mahomes under center. And Andy Reid took the high road and took the blame. And, you know, when you've won world championships and you're going to be in the Hall of Fame and, you know, what is that? Remember when he was doing the commercial when he was telling Mahomes to say, what was it they were saying? Remember he wanted him to say something over and over again? And Mahomes said, I ain't saying that. And he was being really ridiculous. He was being really goofy. The hell was that commercial? Somebody will remind me. Well, they can't remind me because I don't have hip cricket again. No! And Abbott was going to come in and said, well, I can get your computer up and running on this computer screen while you're in here. And I said, you can't do it. And because I tried, I couldn't do it. Anyway, I think Andy takes the high road. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you watch the game, he said, I thought we could convert. Rashee Rice dropped the ball. Did you see the play?
Yes.
He dropped the ball. It was a perfect pass. So to me...
Perfect play.
So to me, because it didn't work, doesn't mean it was inexplicably. How do you make a blunder like that? It was the right... You're trying to... And plus, when you've got Guy Lombardo trophy cred, you're not as worried, right? I said, well, we won big world championship. We're out here to win. We're going to kick the ball to them and get our defense. We can convert a 4th and 1. We're the Kansas City Chiefs with Pat Mahomes. And they should have. And later, they got the ball back one more time, and Kelsey dropped the ball.
Yes, they had lots of drops in the second half.
So it's like Mahomes was doing his job. I don't think that was now, Andy said it was because I think Andy just...
He doesn't want the blame on Rashee Rice. He's being a good coach.
That's exactly right. And it was like, no, we made the right call. If you don't believe me and didn't see the play, Google it. As Frank Signetti. No, is that his first name, Frank? Whatever the guy's name is, a coach for Indiana. So I don't think it was a blunder. I don't agree with who wrote. And I think the guy that wrote the story just did it because Andy went ahead and said, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So he read that. That wasn't. That was the right call at the right time. You can't. It was a 4-yard pass. It wasn't like they aired it out. He was trying to make some acrobatic grab, double covered. It was just a little flip a pass to him, and he had it in his hands, and he dropped it. So let's break, come back. Rosen before 2. I got a couple of... I want to talk about tennis favorite team, and then we'll poke... We'll try to prod and poke the basketball community in general, specifically the Wolves. We'll do that next. Common Man Program in the Fan.
One night?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, you're going to like this one.
Oh.
One night, one icon, the legend himself, Bob Dylan, returns to Minnesota at Mayo Civic Center on March 24th.
Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say to you.
Don't miss out on a night of timeless hits.
Keeps me searching for a hearty gold.
Get the full details today at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary, she comes to me. Speaking words of wisdom, Tennessee.
hell else was I going to say? Oh, I know what it is. Looks like the Wild have cracked the code. I thought you'd like that. That's a good win. You know, while they were away, they had I think I read it was a 12-game point streak, and that stopped while they were away. They lost consecutive games in regulation for the first time since mid to late October. They got a win. Was it 4-1 over the Kraken?
4-1. Two of them were empty netters.
Two of them were empty netters.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So it was tighter than the score would indicate.
Okay. Couple of Zook's upper body smashed his face or something. What happened to Zook's? And then Middleton got hurt too?
Middleton, Boldy at one point kind of went off at the end. And So last night was an interesting game because you think a Wild Kraken, you don't like Kraken's an expansion franchise, right? So there's not a rivalry. You're not in the same division. There hasn't, that I recall, been like incidents of hatred between the two. And then
2 time zones though.
Well, yeah, we did have travel time. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a 9:00 start last night.
But how did we win then? That doesn't seem possible.
They overcame.
Yeah, they must have.
But Zuccarello took a really hard hit. He was skating through the neutral zone, tried to cut back at the last second, and got hit pretty good. Now, right after that, Yurov immediately jumped in. Kaprizov jumped in. There was a scrum.
Okay.
They looked at it and said, well, legal hit. He doesn't get a penalty for it. So we ended up getting a penalty kill off of it, even though Zuccarello took the hit. But Zuccarello never returned. Okay. I'm guessing there's possibility for concussion there. As of right now, I don't think we've heard anything. So he did not come back. He did not return. And I'll tell you what, Kirill Kaprizov, after that injury, because Matt Zuccarello is like his best friend.
Okay.
He was man on a mission after that happened. I've never seen him play so hard, wanting to just bury the Seattle Kraken. But I don't recall the Middleton injury. But yeah, they were already beat up. They're already missing Rossi and Foligno and Hinostroza, and they just they really can't afford any more injuries. And when the season turned around, not saying it's directly due to him, but when Matt Zuccarello got back into the lineup from his injury, that's when the Wild turned it around because it really helped out their top six. Specifically, him and Kaprizov just have chemistry like no other. So, yeah, I don't know how bad of an injury it is. I don't know if he has a concussion, if it's something different. I would guess it's something head or neck or... he got knocked over pretty good.
I think I read, too, the Wild have something like 6-7 most points in the NHL. It's actually 5, I think, but I just wanted to do the 6-7 thing. I think, do we have the 5th most points in the National Hockey League? That's what I thought. I think it might have been the Chris Hine piece.
Well, I know before that.
Is Chris Hine the beat writer for the Fish Wrap Factory Westside? Is he related to the head coach of the Wild? Are they like father, son, second cousins, couple 13, 14, 6, 7 times removed? Because they both have the same name. Don't you find that interesting? Spelled different, but they got the same name. These are the things that keep me up at night. Well, that really didn't keep me up at night, but I found it interesting.
Yeah, there's 3 teams that have more points than the Wild.
Okay.
Now, I guess technically they're behind Anaheim. They have the same amount of points, but Anaheim's played 1 less game.
Okay.
So, yeah, 5th.
Yeah, 5th. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, I'm reading the Chris Hine piece from the Fish Wrap Factory Westside Wolves. The Timberwolves have saved themselves from some disappointing losses of late thanks to strong fourth quarters. They had to attempt another fourth quarter comeback Monday night from down 11, this time with Rudy Gobert out because of an ejection for a flagrant foul. But the Wolves couldn't get enough consistency on both ends of the floor. That doesn't sound like the Timberwolves. Well, that's strange. Couldn't get enough consistency on both ends of the floor.
Let me guess they were bored.
108-105 loss to Phoenix at the Bullseye. That ended their 5-game win streak. And had a big scoring night, 40 points, but some of his teammates weren't as proficient. McDaniels, DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Mike Conley combined to shoot 4 for 31. Now, we talked about this the other day, Teneby. I don't think that's effort. I don't think that's being bored. I don't think that's just wanting to get to the postseason. We talked about this. Sometimes when you're playing basketball, and the game starts, hoop looks like a rain barrel. You can't miss. Other games, it looks like a thimble, and must have been a thimble-like to those players. But that's ice-cold shooting, 4 for 31. It's hard to believe they were even in that game at all.
No kidding.
It sounds like they were. The head coach said they missed some shots. Obviously, they were 4 for 31. He goes, I thought a lot of them were decent looks. I thought there were a few moments in the game where we could have worked a little harder to get a better shot. But remember, they don't like to work hard. This team has no work ethic whatsoever. Maybe someday, and of course, I'll forget that I've asked you, so you're not going to do it because you know I'll forget, and it's really not a big deal. But have I ever told you about Maynard G. Bob Denver, who played Maynard G. Krebs in the Many Loves of Dobie Gillis? That was before he became Gilligan. That was the show he was in before he became. He did such a good job in that show that they cast him as Gilligan in Gilligan's Island. And anytime they'd mention work to him, he'd go, work, and his voice would crack because he was so allergic to it. And I think that's what the Wolves are. Work hard. I think so. If you could find that soundbite, if it's available anywhere, we could put it on the button bar and I could just beat that into the ground.
I feel like I have done that before.
I think maybe we have. It seems like work. Anyway, I thought there were a few moments in the game where we could have worked a little harder to get a better shot, but for the most part, I thought we had some decent looks. Here's what Jay Randall said. He goes, start of the first halves have not been great, and we've been easing ourselves into games and cover that with a good amount of energy in the third and fourth, winning that way. But we aren't playing our best basketball. We know we can't consistently win like that. Yeah. That's not as good as I'd hoped. Anyways. So I think tonight we got a little bit of what we deserve from this, just not playing a full 48 minutes. And again, not playing the full 48 minutes. And, I know I'm a broken record.
What's this one from?
I don't know.
It says, go to work.
Go to work. And I know I keep harping about it, but I think maybe if I harp on it enough, maybe it'll get back to the Wolves. I've already offered Chris Finch. I'll come and talk to the club if you want. I'm more than happy to. And if you say, well, Common, it's not going to get back to the Wolves. They don't even, sports people don't listen to what guys in this town say. I beg your pardon. A.J. Przinsky of the, formerly of the Minnesota Twins, after the Twins clinched the division in a season which I'd been riding the team hard, trying to prod and cajole them and trying to motivate them. It worked. They won the division, and when Mark Rosen put a microphone in his face in the clubhouse at the conclusion, here's what he had.
I'm not even sure Mark Rosen put the microphone in his face. I think he jumped in. Mark Rosen was interviewing someone else, I think. So if you listen to both parts.
Okay.
Say. A whole lot of character. I just want to say, you doubted us, but now we're here.
And then you have this.
I'm not going to say a lot of people counter us out. I heard Dan Cole on KFAN.
We're not live right now.
But I heard Dan Cole on KFAN say, I don't want to hear that, so I'm not going to say that. A lot of people counter us out.
That first one, it sounds like someone else is talking, and then he jumps in.
A lot of character. Yeah, so we do motivate here. Or at least I have proof of it. Other people have claimed it, but there you have it. So I just wish there would be, and he even says, we aren't playing our best basketball. We know we can't consistently win like that. So I think tonight we got a little bit of what we deserve from this, not just playing a full 48 minutes. Or maybe they need, by the way, I'm confused because I was going to say maybe they need a member of the Viking staff to tell them to play like 16-year-old kids again. But I'm confused on that. I've read two different accounts. I've read that it was like, I think the running backs coach that said it. Then yesterday, someone asked the head coach about his little spiel, and the head coach acted as if he said it. So did the running backs coach say it to the head coach? Did the head coach say it to the running backs coach? Did they both say it? I read it. I know it. I'm not making it up. It's no big deal, but I'm just wondering who came up with that. Their version of the win one for the Gipper speech or their captain's only spiel that the Wolves tried earlier this year. Because it apparently worked. Just play like you're old 16-year-old self. And that's easier for McCarthy to do because I think he's 17, so he only has to think back a year. But, yeah, so I'm hoping that, and maybe at the end of the day it won't matter. Because as I've said before, the one thing that the truth of the matter is, they let games get away last year that they shouldn't have. They got the 6th seed rather than a 2nd or a 3rd or even a 4th, somewhere higher, where they could have got a home court advantage. And we admonished them for that, for losing games that they should never let. And they still, with a 6th seed, were able to get to the Western Conference Finals. So is it ultimately, do you have to get the number 1 seed or the number 2 or 3 or the 4? No, you don't have to. It does help, though. It gives you, I think, a better chance.
Well, you want to avoid the 7-10,
right,
too, what
exactly.
You're flirting with.
Well, that's exactly right. So I do think it's better. And maybe they'll finally, maybe they'll take it to heart and they'll start, because they all keep saying it, right?
But they've all been saying it for the last couple of years.
That's it, right? That's the thing. I don't know if they. I just don't. I don't know, and it's if you're a Wolves fan, I'm assuming there are Wolves fans. That feel the same way I do. That are, we love our club and it's not the end of the world, but this idea of, some of those quotes, like when Ann said, it says, it seems like we don't even want to play these games. And then Finch said, I think we're bored. And it's like, I just like, you don't want to hear that from world-class athletes making big money.
No.
Yeah, that we don't want to play these games. We just want to get to the playoffs and we're bored. That's not a great message to send to the ticket-buying public. But until maybe they have to really get beaten down where it's like, calendar turns to January and we're sitting on the 11th seed, which isn't even a seed, right? Because you're not in the tournament at that point. But I don't know what it's going to take, but we'll find out. I saw a Randball wrote a piece today. I didn't read it. I just saw the headline. It says, hoping the Vikings would tank for a draft pick. I have some bad news. And then the subheadline is, go ahead and ask a professional athlete to be okay with losing. Well, yeah, no athlete's going to be okay with losing. Maybe some Timberwolves players, I don't know. But, no one's going to be happy, but that's not, and I'd have to read, maybe I should read the story first, but tanking by a team, I don't think a coach or a general manager, an owner brings the team together and goes, all right, no one's listening, are they? Now this stays in this locker room and goes no further. We want you guys to play terrible. Y'all in? Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3, lose. Well, no, but the tanking can be done by the coaching staff, right? Because you can put together a game plan that is pretty flimsy, right? Or you can say, you know what? We're going to play Max Brosmer in the second half of this game. There are things you can do to lose games that, and, look.
Remember the Timberwolves the one year? They wanted to get the tank to have the most lottery balls, so Mark Madsen was heaving up threes in the final game.
And look, I know I'm going to sound now like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because here I am scolding and admonishing the Wolves for not, being bored and not playing. But we're talking about a really good team that has coming off back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances. You would think they want to get back there again, because they had the meeting at the beginning of the year, said, do we want to just do Harlem Globetrotters or do we want to try to win a championship? And they all said ship. But when your team is in a position like the Vikings are, other teams, it probably is beneficial to put vanilla game plans together and just play and let some other guys play. And I know that there would be players on the team that might not be happy about that too. It's a fine line. It's difficult, I think, to try to tank games. I do want to say this though, Tenneby, and I forgot, I did tweet this. And I understand why they didn't, but when there were 7 minutes to go in that game and the Vikings got the ball back, I think I would have put Max Brosmer. Now, I know the comeback to that is, well, McCarthy has been so bad, he needs as many reps as he can get. And that's why I know they did it, and I agree with that. And maybe they wanted him to be actually do a kneel down at the end of a game that he won, which I guess he did against Detroit, so he has done it. But I still thought, as bad as Brosmer played, that is his lasting memory of this season going to be that awful performance, and that sticks in his head. And you might need him sometime, right? I mean, you may need him. So I just thought, I've seen enough out of McCarthy, PA, put him on ice. And I would have put Brosmer, and I had some pushback on Twitter because of that. And I understand. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying how dare they not play Max Brosmer, but I would have liked to have seen Max get in and give him a series or two so we could air it out a little bit, not playing against, our season's on the line. You're playing against Seattle at Lumen Field in the with the 12 and all that, but he didn't, and that's okay too. The Vikings won. Well, the legendary Mark Rosen will get his thoughts on the what's happening in the sports is your whole life just sports world when he joins us next. Common Man program on the Fan.